friends, and welcome back to my channel. I realized that I kind of jumped right into all of the beauty tutorials and makeup videos, and I've never really introduced myself. So today we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to give you like 10 or so fun facts about myself so that you guys can get to know me a little bit better. So first off, my name is Christine, and my really close friends and family call me Tine, which is why my channel is called Tine Watson. And let's get started. So first fun fact about myself, I live in Los Angeles, California. I have for the past 4 years, but I'm actually a native New Englander. I grew up in Connecticut. I lived in Boston for 10 years, and I just love Boston and almost everything about it. I do not like the Red Sox, but everything else about Boston I love. It was a really awesome city. My most favorite place that I've lived was this tiny shoebox of an apartment in Beacon Hill. And I just loved my time in Boston, and I do miss it a lot sometimes. I do like being out here in California as well, but I really do love Boston. Next, I've actually, speaking of where I've lived, I've actually moved 7 times in the last 15 years. I'm not in the military, my husband's not in the military, but for some reason we can't seem to stay in one place. Although I do think that being out here in California now, we will be out here for the foreseeable future. So hopefully we will move a little bit less, because even though I am very good at moving now, it doesn't mean that I like it. So hopefully we'll stay put because moving sucks. Next up, I went to college for accounting at a school called Bentley College. And when I applied to college, I only applied to one school. That's right, I applied to Bentley. It was the only place I applied to. To any, high school seniors watching this, I absolutely do not recommend you applying to one school. I mean, it worked out in my favor, thank goodness, but probably not the smartest decision I've ever made. But when I went to visit the school, my mom and my grandmother and I were on a little road trip tour of colleges in the Boston area, and the 3 of us were on site, or on campus, I should say, and I just looked at them. I said, this is where I'm going to school. This is where I just know this is where I belong. And we drove the 4 hours home, and I told my dad, this is where I'm going to school. I'm only applying to Bentley, and I don't care if I don't get anywhere else because I'm not going to any other school. Yeah, that went over all great. But I held firm. I never applied anywhere else. It was only place I wanted to go. I was looking at Bucknell and Villanova were probably my 2 closest other choices. But I never ended up even applying there because I wanted to go to Bentley. So good thing it worked out for me. Definitely recommend safety school just because we live in uncertain times, and probably wasn't my smartest move. Anyway, so my next fun fact is I studied accountancy and French language at Bentley as an undergrad, and then I actually also went there for grad school, and I have my master's in accountancy from Bentley as well. The really cool thing about this, though, is that when I went to Bentley as an undergrad, we were Bentley College, and then by the time I became a grad student, we had become a university. So I have 2 diplomas hanging up in my office over there. One of them says Bentley College, and the other one says Bentley University, which is pretty neat because I am actually the first class to have the 2 different diplomas. So claim to fame. Next up, I am a total Francophile. I love everything about France, everything about the French language. I've always, Alexa is talking to me in the other room. Did you hear that? Gotta love technology. I love everything about France. I love everything about French language. I've always known since I was a really young child that I wanted to study French, even before it was offered in my school. I think I just have a French soul. I just think that like my soul has always felt like it belonged in France. So my husband and I have been quite a number of times. He's probably sick of me always talking about like, when are we going back to France? Like, when are we going back? I mean, I guess thankfully for him right now, there's no travel allowed anywhere, so I can't be bugging him when we're going, but I do keep telling him like, when the borders open, we're going back. And he's just like, yeah, Christine, okay. But I do speak French. I've been to France quite a few times, and not just Paris. Like I've traveled pretty extensively throughout France the best that I can. When we got married, we took a 3-week trip, and we actually traveled all through the western part of France down through the south. We rented a car and did like a really cool road trip, which was so much fun. In a couple of subsequent trips, my husband actually used to go over there for work quite a bit, so I, whenever I could, would tag along. I've flown out there by myself to meet him. I actually once got stranded there. Air France went on strike, and I was supposed to leave on a Sunday, and I couldn't get out until Wednesday, so I had a couple extra days in France by myself to just wander around and do nothing, which is just amazing. I just kept cafe hopping and having glasses of wine, which was really fun. And then we went back this November. My husband had to go back for work again, and I, of course, tagged along, and I had several unsupervised days of shopping in Paris, which was amazing. Then we also took a train ride one day and went down to Dijon to do some wine tasting. So I just love everything about France, and I just can't wait till I go back. And I really hope that someday we can go and stay for a more extended period of time, whether we can spend a couple of months or half the year there. We'll see. It's not in the cards right this moment, obviously, but I am not giving up hope that someday I will live in France. We'll see. Next up, I am super crafty. I can paint, sew, quilt, paper mache, crochet, bead, knit, you name it, I can do it, with the exception of drawing. I absolutely cannot draw, but everything else I can pretty much do somewhat decently, and I really enjoy crafty things. I have quilted, I've made my own clothes, I painted a toddler table and chair set, I've made cosplay costumes, I've painted other furniture, I've made paintings, you name it. Like I said, minus the drawing, I've done it, and I feel like it just really fills me. Like, it's just one of those things that makes me happy. When I first started working, I had a job in accounting, I was an auditor, and I had a very corporate black and white job that really didn't have any creativity in it. So I think I leaned towards these crafty things and vlogging as a way to really express that creativity that I didn't have any other outlet for in my life. So super crafty. I once actually went to a conference where we had to come up with a superhero name, and my superhero name is Crafty Christine. So that's another one. Next up, I have a pet bird. I have a parrot named Pip. He's a parrotlet, which basically means miniature parrot. I'll stick his picture here. He's not up here today because he really can't keep his chill. When I'm on video, he just screams and makes too much noise. So he will not be making a cameo today, but maybe in a future video he might. We've had him for 3 years, so he's 3 or 3.5 by now, I guess. And I've always had birds pretty much. The bird that I grew up with is technically my brother's bird. It's our family bird. And he lives with my parents, and he's gonna be 22 this year. So I have almost had a bird for like my whole life. I've never had a cat or a dog. And I guess most people are just not, everybody knows that you can have a bird as a pet, but a lot of people who I've met will tell me like, oh, I've never met anybody who had a parrot. So there you go. I am your token parrot owning friend, and I just love having a bird. Like I said, don't know any differently. I've always had one, or pretty much have always had one since I was in middle school. So I just love having a parrot. Pip is a really funny guy. We just love having him in our family. He talks, he says quite a few things, and he's just a really funny bird. I think you just have to be a bird person to appreciate it though, because most people just think they're scary little rats with wings, but we love Pip. Next up, most people when I hear this either totally expect it or totally don't believe it at all. So let me know in the comments below which camp you belong to. I was cheerleading captain in high school. Do you believe it, or is this a can't picture it kind of thing for you? Let me know. But yes, I was on the varsity cheer squad for all 4 years, and when I was a senior, I was captain. I did not date a football player though. I'll put that out there. I did not cheer in college, although I could have, and I did cheer in middle school as well. But once I hit senior year, I said, you know what, let's go out with a bang. Wasn't going to do it in college, and I'm super happy with that decision. I didn't want to do it in college. Next up, almost to the end of my list here, I'm actually a certified professional life coach. I had an experience with a life coach quite a number of years ago when I was transitioning out of my job as an accountant and an auditor. I met with a life coach who really helped me figure out what I wanted to do next with my life and got me into, helped me get into the role that I am in now, and I have been in for the past, I guess 8 years. So I had such a profound experience that when I came out of it and I was on the other side and my life had kind of settled down and the dust had settled and everything, I had said to myself wow, I want to do that for other people. And it took me almost 2 years from that point to actually start a program. But I thought about it for an entire year. And then I inquired about a program, got information about it, and then sat on that information again for another year. And I sat and thought about it for months and months, and then I finally enrolled in the program and took the courses and did it. So I went to the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. It took me about 13 months to complete the 3-module program, and it's been a really great experience. I love being a coach, and I get to do it a lot at my current job. I get to do it outside of my job as well. I'll drop below my website link if you are interested in learning more about coaching. But I think that life coaching is a super rewarding career as well, and I really love that I went through the training to do it, even though it was a really rough year. It was a lot of work. It was expensive too. But in the end, it was amazing. And it was one of the best things I've ever done for myself. And then last, but very not least, I learned how to ski as an adult. I learned just a couple of years ago. Like I said, grew up in New England, but I never grew up learning how to ski. I went once as a child. I barely remember going, but apparently I loved it. My brother hated it. We never went back. My dad didn't love cold weather sports as it was, so we went. I didn't seem to be like crying to go back for more, which I don't remember, so I can't tell you if that's true or not, but I went once at like age 6 maybe, and then never went back. So then flash forward a couple years ago, my husband says to me, oh, I have some friends who want to go skiing up at Mammoth. Do you want to go? And I was like, sure, I'll try it. You know, most things in life I'll try once. I mean, I have a few things I will never try, but you know, most reasonable requests, like, sure, I'll try skiing once. So we drove the 5 hours up there. We went skiing. I took a couple lessons and I loved it. And strangely enough, I am actually quite good at it for being, you know, an adult and learning when you're older, because you know all the little kids have no fear of flying down the mountain really fast, and they learn from a young age how to do it. When you're older, you are much more cautious, and I think a lot less likely to pick things up easily like that. I mean, I don't know, feel free to, you know, write in the comments below if you disagree or not, but I never expected to pick it up as much as I did. So I've only been skiing for like 2.5 seasons now. We actually had a great season last year. We skied almost 30 days, I think, which is fantastic, especially because we live like 5 hours away from the closest mountain. But we've skied in here in California, we've skied in Montana, we've skied in Canada, we've skied in Colorado. We were hoping to make it to other places this year, like Jackson, but obviously with the coronavirus, our plans kind of got squashed. But I've skied the past 2 seasons, and like I said, I'm actually quite good, which really shocked me because I am not Susie Sports. Sure, I was a gymnast when I was really young. I did cheerleading. I was a swimmer for a year, but I mean, like, I would never use the word athlete to describe myself. And I can do black diamonds now. Like, I am comfortable doing black diamonds at every mountain I've ever visited. And I'm like, really not that bad. I'm a little bit slower than the group. So when we go skiing, I'm typically the last down the mountain, but I still can do all of like the technical things that everybody else can do. I can make it down all the harder runs. I don't do chutes, and I don't do double blacks. And I really try to stay away from the trees, even though sometimes we do end up in there. I took a pretty nasty spill in the Mary Jane section of Winter Park this year in the trees. I wasn't hurt, but I ended up falling, and then I got stuck in like neck deep snow and had to take my skis off and like hike out. And it was just like, it was the most draining thing. Like, it drained me more to do that than it does to actually ski. And, you know, I guess everybody has that kind of experience at some point, but I try to stay out of the trees too much. I don't do chutes. I don't do double blacks, but anything else pretty much. And I mean, I don't do like the park either. I've done some baby jumps, but just little baby ones. But other than that, my claim to fame is that I learned to ski as an adult, and I'm actually pretty good at it. So I tease my family now that I really, like, you know, they did not nurture my calling, because clearly I was, you know, meant to be some Olympic skier, but they just didn't nurture my talent as a child. So now I just have to settle for being a pretty decent adult skier who only learned when she was, I'm not going to say the age, but later in life, obviously. So those are the fun facts about myself. I hope you learned something fun and new about me. If you have any of the same interests, please put them in the comments below. I want to know. If you liked this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you're notified of all my new videos. More makeup and beauty videos will be coming up soon, but maybe we'll do more fun things like this as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.